anybody spending money has the right and the expectation to know that what they're buying and what condition what they're buying is in. And it's unfair for a dealership not to provide that information.
What did Dad want?
Morning, handsome. Apparently, you got the memo. It's black shirt, whatever day this appears on air.
Yes, I did. This is the result of not doing laundry very much, but that's okay because it's a good look.
I don't get it. When you lived with me, you did laundry every damn day.
Yeah. Anyway, all right,
Okay.
Pop. So
yes,
we're gonna jump right into today's video. No sponsorships, no Eddie Bauer. We're still mad at Eddie Bauer. Boycott Eddie Bauer. Cancel.
I'm not mad at Eddie. I'm not mad at Eddie Bauer. You know, they've made it. They've made their decision, and they're going to force me to make mine.
I'm gonna put in case you have no clue what we're talking about, I'm gonna put the clip in right about now so that you can see what we're talking about.
By the way, I wear nothing but Eddie Bauer t-shirts. Do you think we should send them an invoice?
No one would know they're Eddie Bauer. We should get like a lapel pin for you.
But they're some of the finest t-shirts known to man.
But anyway, all right, we're talking about that, a news story that I saw that came out of the great state of Georgia. Okay, let me read verbatim what the title of the news story was. It was Georgia dealers selling used cars with major safety defects. Channel 2 investigation finds. We'll flash the article up on the screen. And we both read through this article, Dad, and I think it would be worthwhile for us to, describe what happened, talk about how this type of thing can happen, and how, as a customer, car buyer, you can protect yourself.
Well, basically, what happened is, a dealer in Georgia sold a used 4Runner, a 2015 Toyota 4Runner, to a customer, and after the customer bought it, he discovered that the side airbags were missing, and they were missing because the vehicle had been in an accident, and when it was repaired, the side airbags hadn't been replaced. So there's a major life-threatening safety defect that's now built into that vehicle. And it turns out that Progressive Insurance sold that vehicle at an auction in Texas, and as they said, they were in absolutely full compliance of all the rules, regulations, and laws in the state of Texas when it came to selling a vehicle that had been, should have been branded, should have had a branded title, perhaps for having been a total loss, because I don't know why Progressive would have been selling the vehicle if it hadn't been declared a total loss. But in the great state of Texas, apparently you can sell a vehicle at auction that has been totaled and still get a clean title for it. And you end up with what's affectionately referred to as a washed title. So it's been cleaned. And then some poor unsuspecting buyer, a used car dealership, buys it in Georgia, gets a Georgia title, doesn't show that it's been branded, that it's been in a major accident, and he doesn't check to make sure that, all the airbags are in the vehicle, and sells it. And then the buyer finds out, I don't know how the buyer found out that it didn't have the side airbags, complained, they took the car back, then they sold it to another dealer. Another dealer sold it to somebody else in Chattanooga.
Which at this point, everyone knows the car is not in good condition, not safe. However, the car keeps being sold and sold and sold.
Oh, it's been sold like 7 times.
Yeah.
And truth be told, how we talk about a pre-purchase inspection? Well, I don't think a mechanic's going to find that airbags aren't in the car.
Well, but I think what the mechanic will find is they'll be able to make note of, hey, it's pretty obvious that there was a major accident that happened and repair work was done.
Sure.
And go to whoever, contracted with that mechanic. Do you want me to dig a bit deeper? Because this panel has obviously been replaced. Let me pull back the panel. Oh wait, it doesn't have airbags. And we had a customer of ours when we did our when we used to help people buy cars. We ran into this issue. They bought a car. We helped them. They took the car to the mechanic after the fact to get some work done. Oh, we're going to keep peeling back the onion here. Did you know this car was in an accident? Nope. The dealer, the car had clean, in that case, clean Carfax, clean auto check, clean title, clean everything, had been in an accident. Yeah. And so this type of stuff can happen. The reality of this Georgia story, though, is that everyone, once they realized the car had been in an accident, but it still had a clean title, just like got rid of it. They were just like hot potato, like, all right, I'll pass it off to the next person, which is negligence and really disconcerting.
Well, I think the real major problem with it is that in the United States, we deal with 50 states, and each state has their own rules, regulations, and laws regarding how vehicles are titled, what information is required when they're titled, and then it's easy to take a vehicle from one state, move it to another, and end up washing any bad things about that title into a new clean title. Just if it was centralized, it was run by the federal government, titles came from the U.S. government, not state governments, then perhaps there could be standardized rules and regulations in regards to something like this. Sure. So that if a vehicle is declared a total loss by the insurance company, and it's then put back together and sold at the auction, it would be sold at any auction with a U.S. government-issued title that says it's branded, that it was a total loss, or that it was declared a total loss because of flood damage, or whatever it was. But there would only be one titling agency. It would make it a lot harder to wash a title, clean a title, take it from branded to non-branded. But when there's 50 states involved, well, people figure out ways to circumvent everything. They find every little loophole so that they can take what was a branded title, get it washed, sell it to some unsuspecting schnook who ends up buying a car that should have still had a branded title, but it shows a clean title. There has to be a centralized agency that issues these titles. It can't just be up to each state. Now, there could be registrations for each state. I get that, so that the state can collect their sales taxes and their registration fees and all that. But there should just be one titling agency, and that should be government run, U.S. government run, assuming that, they would have the wherewithal to do something like
this.
That.
Is the Your Auto Advocate running platform for we'll do 2024. We're not going to worry about 2020. That's in the bag. However, Dad, you do bring to mind one concept that I want us to talk about briefly, which is, you mentioned to me when we ran into that issue with one of our customers, the dealer has a responsibility as the expert when they're selling vehicles and things like that. Because if you're not familiar, lemon laws are for new vehicles. They're not for used vehicles. Yes. Used vehicles are sold generally as is. Once you bought it, it's your issue. And so you've talked to me about that in the past. Can you explain that to our audience a little bit and kind of the protections that car buyers do or don't have? And of course, it is different in all 50 states, but broadly speaking, if you could speak to that, I think that'd be helpful.
Well, most used cars are sold as is. Now, if it's considered a younger used car, and younger would be 3 years old or less, in most cases they still have the balance of whatever factory warranty is remaining. So as is on a car like that still means it has some warranty from the manufacturer. Older cars, as is means as is. Whatever defects it may have, you own. And so there's an issue where courts have ruled that if a consumer felt that they were taken advantage of because after the fact they discovered that there was some major issues that weren't disclosed to them. Courts have ruled that the dealerships are supposed to be the experts in this case. They're supposed to be the ones who have inspected the vehicle, and if they came upon issues, if they came upon evidence of it having been in an accident or there having been frame or rail damage to the car, it's the dealership's responsibility to provide that information to the buyer. And the dealership just can't claim, well, we didn't catch it, because they're the expert. The courts have ruled that as the experts, you should have caught it. Negligence is not the right defense here, and so it's incumbent upon the dealers to actually inspect the cars. It's incumbent upon the dealers to actually provide the information from those inspections to the customer. Anybody spending money has the right and the expectation to know that what they're buying and what condition what they're buying is in. And it's unfair for a dealership not to provide that information.
Do you want to point to it, and we can link to the pre-purchase?
It'll be somewhere over here.
We made that pre-purchase inspection video, and we also wrote a guide back on the yourautoadvocate.com website about pre-purchase inspections. Take a peek at both of those. At the end of the day, used car, you're getting a pre-purchase inspection. Is the dealer responsible for being the expert in the situation? Yes. Can things still happen like what happened in this instance in Georgia? Absolutely. If it's happening there, it's happening elsewhere. You need to just...
It's happening everywhere. Yeah. There's probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cars that would fall into this category, where people are buying things and have no idea that what they're buying isn't entirely what they thought they were buying.
Exactly. So be an informed car buyer. Listen to your auto advocate, and this is one of those videos where, share this with a friend, not because of the views that it gets us, because this is the type of information that if you're buying a used car, especially a cheaper used car, it's just you need to be privy of these things, because it's very easy to be that person that is taken advantage of, whether they know it or not, and you don't want to be in that situation, ever.
The next merch we should do should just say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
I like that.
And and it is. And all we're trying to do is provide you with a little knowledge. What you do with it is up to you. But just remember, folks, knowledge is power.
I was thinking the next merch would be a photo of you going like this, and we could...
Well, we could, absolutely.
Yeah, but then no one would
I don't want to
buy
look too confused. Well, somebody might. You never know.
All right, Pops. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Zach. Good talk.